Hi everyone, my name is Nick, and before the video starts, I just want to say thank you for this past week. I recently hit 1,000 subscribers, and that's all thanks to you guys. Everyone always dreams of becoming a YouTuber, so having that become a reality for me is just mind-blowing. With that said, this is my attempt at a hardcore Nuzlocke using only normal Pokemon. If you go around asking people what they think of every type, they'll generally have the same answer. Steel types are often seen as super defensive, electric types are fast but frail, and bug types are often seen as weak. Oh wait, I disproved that in one of my videos. But when it comes to the normal type, people have mixed opinion. Some people will say that they're bad because they have no type coverages, while others will say that they're good because they have no type weaknesses. Personally, I think of them as the vanilla flavor of ice cream. By itself, it's nothing special, but a good vanilla ice cream can never go wrong. Additionally, vanilla pairs up nicely with almost any topping. Normal types are just like vanilla ice cream. They might not seem special on paper, but the average normal type is actually really good. Normal types often have really wide move pools that can cover your team's weaknesses. But since I'm restricted to only using normal types, I can't really show that to you. In Pokemon White 2, there are 18 normal type Pokemon lines, so our options aren't as restricted as other Pokemon challenges. To make up for this, I decided it was appropriate to play on challenge mode. If you don't know what a hardcore Nuzlocke is, here's the rules. If a Pokemon faints in battle, it's considered dead and must be boxed permanently. I can only catch the first normal type Pokemon on each route. Bag items may not be used, and I cannot level my Pokemon past the next gym leader's highest level Pokemon. Also, I must play the game on set mode. With the intro out of the way, let's see how I beat Pokemon White 2 on challenge mode using only normal types. Real quick, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Everything was streamed on Twitch, so if you want to see the behind the scenes, come check me out. Thanks. The journey doesn't start until after I leave Aspertia City, but I make sure to pick Snivy so that our rival has the fighting type starter Emboar. This will just make it harder for us later on in the game. The real starter is found right here on Route 1, where I catch a Patrat. If you've played Gen 5, then you know he has HM Slave written all over him. On Route 20, I catch a Pidove, probably the most forgotten early route bird Pokemon, but when you have to compare with the likes of Staraptor and Corviknight, then I completely understand. The last encounter is Lillipup from Flockacy Ranch. Nothing too special about him, but he does have an amazing nature that raises his speed. I level everyone up to the cap, and I challenge Charon. Charon also uses normal types and has the exact same team as me, so this is a battle to see who is a better trainer, me or Charon. He gets to use potions, but we have a level advantage, so our teams seem pretty even right now. But one thing we have that he doesn't is Frustration. Frustration is given to us by the Team Plasma Grunt in Flockacy Ranch. It's a move that increases in power the lower the friendship is. By keeping my Pokemon stored in the PC, I can train up my team members without increasing their friendship too much. This makes Frustration a decently powerful move available for all my Pokemon. Luckily, Lillipup gets Takedown at level 15. So Takedown does the rest of the work. We do almost take ourselves out with critical recoil, but we're all fine. Nothing much happens between Charon and Roxy, so we get our next encounter. I go to Verbank Complex and I catch myself an Audinite. I get everyone leveled up and I head towards Roxy. So one thing to keep in mind when using normal types is that they'll always have a base 100 power move available to them. Return is a move that increases in power with higher friendship. At max friendship, Return is a base 102 power move that's available to every Pokemon. Combined with the same attack type bonus from normal types, that's basically a Giga Impact on any other Pokemon. So you can probably imagine what happened to Roxy when you're using Giga Impact on a level 19 Whirlipede. Granted, we did have to use 2 workups, but I was more than confident that this would be a deathless victory. The next part of the game is what I like to call a mistake. Who in their right mind thought that this would be a good idea? Anyway, I head towards Castelia City where I can catch some of my next encounter. I catch a Rattata in the sewers and a Skitty in the hidden forest of Castelia City. After all the Team Plasma story stuff, I head to Berg to get my badge. Now that I've completed my bug-only challenge in Platinum, I've come to love bug Pokemon even more, and seeing Berg being a bug specialist, there's only one thing that I have to say, is that he's not doing it right. He's not bringing out the best of his Pokemon. Both his Karrablast and Shelmet could be evolved by now, so as a bug specialist myself, he does have room for improvement. Herdier takes out the Dwebble, and I bring out Tranquil on the Carablast. I set up 2 workups, and Air Cutter takes out the Carablast. Next in is Leavanny, and Air Cutter one-shots it as well. Last is Shelmet, and he goes down 2, earning us the 3rd badge. If I had to pick between Bugsy and Berg, I'd say my favorite bug specialist would be Aaron. Now with the 3rd badge out of the way, we've officially made it to the mid-game. There are quite a few encounters coming up, so I decided to go in blind and let chance decide what I get. This was a big mistake. Here on Route 4, there are actually 2 possible encounters, Minccino or Braviary. Obviously, I got the Minccino here. This usually isn't a problem. Minccino can be found in a lot of places, and Braviary can also be found in one other place. So what I can do to guarantee the Braviary encounter is to catch all the other normal types on that route at a different route, so that Braviary is the only encounter I can catch on that one route. However, that route is at the end of the game, and it has several unique encounters that I can't find anywhere else, so there's no guarantee that I'll be getting a Braviary. This could be a run-ending play since my only weakness is fighting types. Of course, I do have Unpheasant, but Braviary has a much better ability and has a much wider move pool. But I'll worry about this later. Right now, I gotta fight Elisa. Her gym really isn't too hard since I got the Dig TM on Route 4. All of my team are physical attackers, so they can actually all learn Dig. Of course, Emolga is immune to Dig, so I hit her with a Super Fang as she goes for a Volt Switch. Flaffy comes in, and I hit her with another Super Fang as she tries to go for a Thunder Wave. The AI is trying to paralyze me here to lower my speed, but a Cherry Berry cures my paralysis and a Strength takes out the Flaffy. She then sends in Joltik, trying to get the paralysis on me. A Strength brings her down to red health, but he gets off the Thunder Wave, and she heals him back up to full. I click Strength trying to go for the kill, but she Volt Switches out of here into Emolga. Luckily, Emolga's only at half health, so Strength takes her out. Joltik comes back in, and I switch into Stoutland because I know I'm dead to a critical Volt Switch here. Stoutland swaps in, and Joltik indeed goes for the Volt Switch. Joltik gets a critical, but a berry keeps me at 3/4 of my health. In comes Zebstrika. I go for Dig as he hits a Stomp. Dig doesn't do enough and keeps him in the red health. Even with the berry, he's still in the range to be healed. I thought that Elisa would go for a Hyper Potion, so I used Work Up so that my next Dig could take him out. Now that I'm dead to a critical Stomp, I switch into Raticate to kill the Zebstrika. Raticate is faster, and Elisa doesn't heal her Zebstrika, so Dig takes her out. Last is the Joltik. She's slower than Raticate, so Return one-shots the Joltik, earning us the 4th badge. You know, these gym battles aren't really a threat to us. We're usually able to deal big damage to them because all of our moves are either stab or super effective against them. This is something that I always keep in mind when I'm doing my challenge runs. Sometimes I don't need to look for a super effective move, and rather a stab move will do its job perfectly fine. Also, I could have gotten a Castform on this route, but he wouldn't have been too useful since Castform does change typing in the weather, so I could only keep him in the normal form. Anyway, time for Clay. Clay has an aggressive team of physical attackers, so this should be fun. I'll need to find a way to get around the Krokorok though. Krokorok has Intimidate, which lowers the attack of my physical team. He also builds his team around the Sandstorm, so the plan I come up with involves Unpheasant using Taunt. By taunting the Krokorok, he can no longer use Sandstorm and he's forced to use Crunch on Unpheasant. I then switch into Minccino to charm him down and lock him into using Crunch as I switch into Stoutland. I set up a workup so that Return can take him out with one shot. The next Pokemon in was Onix. Now Onix is not a good Pokemon, but this Onix has Sturdy and has the move Explosion, which can do big damage considering I'm only at half health. After chipping it down for a bit, I go for Dig, and on the turn that I'm underground, Onix goes for the Explosion, knocking himself out. Sandslash comes out next, but he goes down to a Return. Last is Excadrill, who goes down to a Dig. This finishes Clay, earning us the 5th badge. If there's one thing you could take away from everything up till now, it's that Return is a really good move. Return is often given to you at the start of the game, and is a free 100 base power move that's available to all Pokemon. All you really need to do is run around in circles to increase your Pokemon's friendship. Now that I've made it to Mistralton City, I can catch myself a Deerling, who is one of the few dual-typed normal types. Deerling is a normal grass type, which is super effective against Marlin. It's also the only coverage we have against rock types, one of the typings that resist normal types and is super effective against our Unpheasant. As I make my way through Mistralton Gym, I plan for Skyla. Skyla uses flying types, a typing that we normally don't have any coverage for. But Stoutland can learn Thunder Fang from the move relearner. and some of my other team members can learn Thunder Punch as well. This makes Skyla really easy. She starts with Swoobat, a psychic flying type, so I lead with Stoutland. Stoutland has Crunch, a dark type move that one-shots Swoobat. She then sends in her ace, Swanna, who takes a 4x Thunderfang and dies to one-shot. She then sends out Sigilif, another psychic flying type. Crunch leaves her in the red health, so she's actually able to get off a Hypnosis. But I wake up next turn as she goes for a Psychic. Another Crunch takes out the Sigilif and she sends out Skarmory next. Skarmory is actually a 3-shot because a berry keeps her healthy enough. Seeing that I'm only at half health, I switch into Watchog to cut Skarmory's health in half with Super Fang. Steel Wing does too much damage, so I switch out into Audino, who has Surf, to target the Skarmory's low special defense. The first Surf brings Skarmory down to red, but she doesn't go for a heal. I thought she would, so I went for a Work Up to boost my special attack. I hit the next Surf and take out the Skarmory, winning me the 6th badge. Right now, the trend that seems to be popping up is that if Return doesn't do enough damage, then I could just teach another move that does enough damage. There's nothing in between the 6th and 7th gym, so I fly to Lentimas Town and I head over to Undella Town. I can catch a Swablu here, but I won't be able to evolve it since Altaria loses a normal type, so I won't be using Swablu. The next important fight is a rival battle against Hugh. In this battle, his Tepig is fully evolved, so Emboar is actually a problematic fighting type. He starts with this Unpheasant who goes down to 2 Ice Fangs. This baits out the Emboar who probably has a fighting move. I switch to Unpheasant knowing that he's the only one who can take out this Emboar. Instead of going for a fighting move, Emboar goes for a takedown. I use Feather Dance to lower its attack so it can't do as much damage to me. I roost up to heal some HP hoping it doesn't go for a fighting type move, and then a Fly takes it out. Next in is Simipour, who has Brick Break. I switch into Minccino trying to get off a Seed Bomb, but Scald does way too much damage. I switch into Sawsbuck knowing that I was dead to a random move, and luckily, Simipour went for the Scald. Hornleech takes out the Simipour, getting us the victory over Hugh. The next task is to get to Opelucid City and get the 7th gym badge. We do have to cross a couple of routes, but we managed to get to Opelucid unscathed. Drayden uses Dragon types, a very beastly typing. Thankfully, most of our team can learn Ice-type moves like Ice Punch and Ice Fang. I lead with Stoutland against his Dredagon, so that Intimidate can lower his attack. And Ice Fang does most of his health, while a berry keeps him out of potion range. His crunches don't do too much damage, so another Ice Fang takes him out. Altaria comes in, who's 4 times weak to Ice-type moves, so a single Ice Fang takes it out. Next in is Flygon, another 4 times weakness to Ice. Ice Fang also takes him out. Last is Haxorus. Ice Fang does most of his health, but a berry keeps him above half. He uses Dragon Tail and drags out Minccino. Since I'm faster, Return takes out the Haxorus, winning us the 7th badge. Everything's going pretty smoothly so far. What happens next is a bunch of Team Plasma story stuff. None of it's too interesting since they only use Ice and Dark types, so I do pretty well against them. Before I can finish up the main plot of the story, I gotta head to Humilau City. I fly to Undella Town and walk through the Marine Tube to get to Humilau City. Marlin is a water type specialist, so I teach a bunch of grass and electric moves to my Pokemon. He leads with Wailord, a Pokemon with big HP. I start with Sawsbuck and a Hornleech takes out the Wailord with one shot. The next Pokemon to come in is Mantine that knows Air Slash. I don't want Air Slash going into Sawsbuck, so I switch into Audino. He uses Confuse Ray instead, so I switch back into Sawsbuck to take the weak Scald. I switch into Stoutland as Mantine goes for another Scald, and Thunderfang takes him out. He then sends in Caracosta, a very dangerous Pokemon. Caracosta has Shell Smash, which doubles his attack and speed. I switch into Sawsbuck trying to get off a Hornleech, but a critical Rock Slide knocks out Sawsbuck. Looking back at this, Sawsbuck definitely didn't have to die. Stoutland was more than likely to be faster, and a Thunderfang would have definitely killed since Caracosta has -1 defense. This was definitely a mistake on my part, but Stoutland is a much more useful Pokemon than Sawsbuck, so this is not too bad of a loss. Anyway, with the loss of Sawsbuck, we win the 8th badge. At least he didn't die for nothing. Now with all our badges, we can finish up the rest of the story. There's a bunch of battles on the Plasma Frigate, but once we beat Zinzalin, it grants us access to the Giant Chasm. Here, we can finally catch another encounter. At the entrance of the Giant Chasm, we can get a Clefairy. Right now, they're the only special attackers that we can get our hands on. I walk into the Giant Chasm, and I confront Team Plasma arguing with Team Plasma. Again on the Plasma Frigate, there's a bunch of Team Plasma grunts that fight us as we solve through the puzzle, but there's 2 notable battles that I want to highlight. The first is this one against Zinzalin. He's supposed to be a boss battle, but I just don't see it. Fire Punch from Watchog takes out both of his Cryogonals, and then he sends out Weavile. Fire Punch just barely doesn't do enough as he goes for a Night Slash. It does big damage, but seeing as I'm faster, I just go for another Fire Punch to take out the Weavile. The second battle I want to highlight is against Colress, an actually hard boss battle. Colress specializes in technology-looking Pokemon, so he starts off with a Magneton. Fire Punch does about half as he goes for a Thunder Wave. Luckily, a Cherry Berry cures our paralysis as we go for the Dig to take out the Magneton. He then sends in Magnezone. For some reason, I didn't go for Dig, which looking at how much damage Fire Punch did, would have definitely killed him. He gets a critical discharge and leaves Watchog with 2 HP left. I switch into Audino as he goes for another discharge and gets the paralysis on me. Thankfully, the next Drain Punch takes him out. The next Pokemon he sends in is Klinklang. He likes to set up Shift Gear with Klinklang, so I tried to go for a Drain Punch, but we get fully paralyzed, letting him get off a free Shift Gear. I switch into Stoutland to use Dig as he goes for another Shift Gear. I forgot that I didn't pop the Air Balloon yet, so the first Dig actually does nothing. I had to hit him with a Crunch first to break the Air Balloon, then I could go for a Dig to take him out. Metang comes in, and I use a Crunch as he goes for an Agility. Crunch does about half, so I know Dig is guaranteed to kill. He misses his Meteor Mash, and when I come up, I knock out the Metang. His last Pokemon is a Beheeyem who dies to a Crunch. Colress can be surprisingly hard because he mainly uses Steel types which resist normal type attacks. To wrap up the story, we go to the other room to check out who's really the mastermind behind all this. And of course, it's Ghetsis. I make my way deep into Giant Chasm, and I get saved by N and Reshiram. Once Reshiram gets consumed, it's up to us to save him. My leading Pokemon is Stoutland that I need for Ghetsis. I switch into Chinchino as Kyurem goes for a Slash. A return from Chinchino does more than half, as a Fusion Flare brings me to low health. Since I'm faster, I stay in and a return takes out the Kyurem. This brings us to our fight against Ghetsis. His first Pokemon is a Cofagrigus. Since most of my Pokemon learn Crunch, a Dark Gem boosted Crunch from Stoutland takes out the Cofagrigus with a single hit. His next Pokemon is a Seismitoad with Drain Punch. I switch into Unfezant to take the Fighting type move, then into Minccino on a weaker Muddy Water. Grass Gem boosted Seed Bomb takes out the Seismitoad. Toxicroak comes in. I use Dig to avoid the Brick Break and knock out the Toxicroak. Drapion is next, and I know that a Dig won't kill him, but I also don't want him to be in potion range, so I use a return to bring him down to low health. He still heals the Drapion though, so the next return takes him out. He sends in his ace Hydreigon. I switch into Stoutland to get off an Intimidate, and return nearly takes him out. Dragon Rush gets me to low health, but since I'm faster, return knocks out the Hydreigon. Ghetsis' last Pokemon is Electros. Stoutland's low on health, so I switch into Audino to do some damage. Return does more than half, so I know the next return will kill. Electros go for an Acrobatics, which I completely forgot he had, and brings me down to red health. Luckily, my guess was right, and the next return does take him out. And with that, the only thing between us and the end of the game is the Pokemon League. I make my way towards Route 23 where there are 3 possible encounters. One of them is the Braviary that I mentioned before. Obviously a good encounter, but not the one I'll be getting today. The other 2 encounters are Bouffalon and a Zangoose in the Hidden Grottos. The Pokemon I decided to go for was the Zangoose. Even though Zangoose can be found in many different places like Route 15 and Village Bridge, the Zangoose I'm getting here is special because it has the ability Toxic Boost. Toxic Boost is basically Guts but only for poison. It increases the power of physical moves when the user is poisoned. This is an amazing ability. Zangoose also learns Facade, which also increases in power when the user is poisoned. So when you combine the 70 base power of Facade with Toxic Boost, the effect of Facade, and the stab bonus, you get an extremely powerful move. This does mean that we won't be able to get another Flying type, but Zangoose is just that much better than a Braviary. This, however, does not mean that we can relax for the Elite Four. You're probably all wondering, how am I going to get past Marshall and Chantal? Normal type moves won't be able to hit Chantal's Pokemon, and Marshall's Fighting type are all super effective against you. So how will you get past them? Well, most of Chantal's Pokemon are dual-typed Pokemon. This means that I can look for moves that are super effective against their second typing and not have to worry about the Ghost type. Marshall, however, will not be that easy. None of his Pokemon are dual-type Pokemon, so I'll have to brute force past him, and it's gonna be a challenge. Just take a look at how this throw is dealing with my team. Since Fly is not a 100% accurate move, this throw was able to set up a bulk up and is now demolishing my team. A single Rock Slide does most of my health, which means that a super effective fighting type is going to be able to kill me. It just knocked out my Raticate, and it's probably going to knock out some more. Return doesn't do nearly enough damage, so a Circle Throw knocks out Audino as well. But now that Throw is damaged enough, Fly from Unfezant takes it out. The trainer's last Pokemon is a Golurk, a bulky ghost type. Mega Punch gets me to low health, so I use a Crunch to damage him some more, and I let Watchog die. I roost up to get some health back, and eventually, a Fly takes out the Golurk. That battle went horribly. I just lost half my team. If I want to make it through the Elite Four alive, I'm gonna need my team to be the best as it can. Dunsparce is too slow of a Pokemon, and Delcatty is just weak. There is one more encounter that I can get, but there's only a 1% chance that I get it, so this is gonna take a while. In the Hidden Grotto on Route 9, there is a 1% chance that I can find a Bouffalon. While Bouffalon is definitely not a good Pokemon, it's better than anything else we have in the box. Eventually though, we do manage to find it. This is gonna be the best our team will get. The very last obstacle between us and the league is another rival battle. Normal Gem Boosted Return takes out the Unfezant, and Seed Bomb takes out the Simipour. Expecting a Brick Break from Emboar, I switch into Unfezant to tank the hit, but he goes for a Rock Slide. I guess he saw that Rock Slide was also a kill at the health I was at. I switch into Stoutland to get off an Intimidate, and a Normal Gem Boosted Return takes out the Bouffalon. This defeats Hugh, which means that we finally made it to the Pokemon League. After a long planning session, I challenged the Elite Four. First is Chantal. The biggest problem on her team is the Chandelor. It's Choice Scarf, so it's faster than all of my Pokemon, and it has 3 very damaging moves: Psychic, Energy Ball, and Fire Blast. I first set up a Sword Stance with Zangoose. This way, a Shadow Claw can one-shot the Cofagrigus. Unfortunately, due to Mummy, we lose our Toxic Boost ability, which means that we won't be dealing as much damage, but a Sword Stance Shadow Claw is just enough to take out the Golurk. Out comes a Chandelor. At the health I'm at, it has a 1 in 3 chance to use either Fire Blast, Energy Ball, or Psychic, and we got lucky since it went for the Energy Ball. I stalled out the Chandelor by setting up Light Screen and using Work Up to +4. Shadow Ball is now strong enough to take out her entire team. Chandelor goes down to a Shadow Ball, and next she sends out Drifblim. Drifblim also goes down to a Shadow Ball, and last is Bayonet. Shadow Ball takes out the Bayonet, beating the first Elite Four. Everything is going according to plan. The second Elite Four is Grimsley. Grimsley uses Dark types, a typing that Facade can actually hit, so he was no problem. Liepard, who's faster, gets off a Fake Out and a Night Slash, but a single Facade takes him out. Scrafty goes down to a Facade, and out comes Crocodile. Crocodile does get Intimidate on us, but a close combat is enough to take him out. Facade also takes out the Absol, and a close combat knocks out the Bisharp, winning us over the second Elite Four. Caitlyn was also an easy Elite Four. Taunt the Musharna so it can't use Reflect, and I set up Sword Stance. This puts me in the position to sweep Caitlyn. Facade takes out the Musharna. Facade also takes out the Reuniclus. Close combat knocks out Metagross. Sigilyph goes down to a Facade. And Gothitelle also goes down to a Facade. This concludes the third Elite Four, Caitlyn. Time for Marshall, probably the hardest trainer I'll ever face. I start with Unfezant to take out the throw. Unfezant goes up as he misses a Rock Tomb. Flying Gem powered Fly then takes him out. Conkeldurr comes in, and I use Feather Dance to lower its attack, but he makes up for it by using a Bulk Up. His Flame Orb burns him, so I get off a Sky Attack. It leaves him with 1 HP left as he hits me with a Stone Edge. Thankfully, the burn damage takes him out. Sock's in next, and in order to break Sturdy, I gotta sacrifice Unfezant. Unfezant goes up and hits Sock with a Fly as he goes down to a Rock Slide. See ya, buddy, you won't die for nothing. Zangoose comes in and finishes off the rest of Marshall's team. Mienshao goes down to a Facade, and Lucario goes down to a close combat. This concludes the Elite Four, and we're on to the champion. The way you do champion fights is simple. Once a Pokemon serves their purpose, you sacrifice them. This way, your next Pokemon comes in safely. So I plan to do exactly that. The fight starts against a Hydreigon. Close combat knocks him out with one hit. Druddigon goes down to a Facade. Aggron dies to close combat. Lapras also goes down to close combat. Finally, Zangoose goes down, breaking the sash on Haxorus. Well done. You were definitely the MVP of this run. Bouffalon comes in. I go for a Swords Dance as she heals her Haxorus. Next turn, as she sets up a Dragon Dance, a normal gem boosted Giga Impact takes out the Haxorus. Her last Pokemon is Archeops. I let Bouffalon faint to bring in Stoutland. Stoutland gets off the Intimidate, and Thunderfang brings Archeops down to defeatist mode. A final Thunderfang takes out Archeops, winning us the challenge. This challenge was fun. Definitely not the hardest since there's a lot of Pokemon available to you, but I guess playing on challenge mode makes up for it. I love playing through Black and White and Black and White 2 because Gen 5 is my favorite generation to play in. Once again, I want to say thank you to all of you for 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. The journey has been amazing, and I hope I can continue this in the future. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment on what you would have done differently. I also received a bunch of comments on what I should do for my next video, but until then, thank you for watching.